Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for all the reenactors who came out here today. They contribute a heck of a lot of their own time, a heck of a lot of their own money, and a heck of a lot of the resources to come out here. And we should be very happy for them to come out here and put on such a great event, help put on such a great event for us.
But
this does conclude
Skylar,
the Battle
did you
of
have
the
fun
Day is not
today?
done. There's still more interpretive programming going on within the camp, within the park. There's plenty more to see, plenty more to do.
Did you have fun
Don't run to
today?
the parking lot right away, because then you'll create a rush. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your day here at Battlefield Park.
Can you walk around?
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for all the reenactors who came out here today. They contribute a heck of a lot of their own time, a heck of a lot of their own money, and a heck of a lot of the resources to come out here. And we should be very happy for them to come out here and put on such a great event, help put on such a great event for us. But this does conclude
Skylar,
the Battle
did you
of the
have fun
Day is not
today?
done. There's still more interpretive programming going on within the camp, within the park. There's plenty more to see, plenty more to do.
Did you have fun
Don't run to
today?
the parking lot right away, because then you'll create a rush. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your day here at Battlefield Park.
Can you walk around?
Where James Fitzgibbon, an officer of the 49th and a very talented skirmishing officer, have been posted as his headquarters and have been launching harassing attacks against the Americans. The Americans thought if we sent a good, strong force, we'll be able to knock him out of place, take him out, and get the advantage. And so they marched out, up along the old Beaver Dams Road. One of the houses that some of the officers stayed in belonged to a woman by the name of Laura Secord, who overheard what they had planned and decided to warn the British of what was coming. She made a trek all the way to the British lines in some of the dresses you see there, and she didn't take the roads. She went through the Great Black Swamp, she went through the woods. It took her all day to get there. But what they don't tell you is the second part. She walked home afterwards, because if the Americans had found out what she had done, her husband, who was wounded, would probably have been executed, and her children, all 5 of them in the house, would have been kicked out, and her home would have been burnt to the ground. So she took an immense risk, and thanks to her and the indigenous troops that were fighting with the British, they were able to spot the American advance, surround them at the Battle of Beaver Dams, whip them into a fear, and get them to surrender to a small British force supported by about 500, 600 Kananagua Mohawk. Now, during this skirmishing around Fort George and in the area, the Americans received a rather interesting support. Canadians flocked to their colors to fight. About 153 Canadians fought alongside the Americans in a regiment called the Canadian Volunteers. They're on the field today. If you look out there at the far end, you'll see some troops with green bands on their hats and white cockades. Those are the Canadian Volunteers. Now, they actually served with great distinction in the American forces, some of the hardest fighters, but that's because they knew if they were caught, they were going to be executed by hanging, drawing, and quartering, a particularly brutal method of execution. I won't go into details. There are some children in the crowd. Some of you look a little faint. But if you would like to learn about that, come and see me at the far end of the battlefield afterwards. I will tell you every gory, gruesome detail. Oh, and for any proud Canadians, their commander, Joseph Wilcox, who was an elected member of the legislature when he accepted his rank in the U.S. Army, he got killed at Fort Erie, and now he's in an unmarked grave in Buffalo. So, good on him. So we got a question about some of the British on the side there who are in their whites and lacking pants. That's a new one. Well, the American attack would have caught the men by surprise, and they are going to rush out to defend themselves rather quickly. And this is not an old phenomenon. In fact, a photograph that came out of Afghanistan in 2008, there was an American soldier in his full battle gear from the waist up. And he had a pair of Looney Tune boxer shorts on and his boots. Gotten called up, you need to get out there, gotta do your duty. Now, the primary firearm that both sides are using are smoothbore muskets. There's small variations between the two armies' arms, but
bye-bye.
pretty much they're the same thing.